Tom Hanks has been making the rounds again in the news recently, and he has left the internet shocked after some of the things that he has said in this interview that we're going to be getting into in just a second. He has been someone who has been involved in a lot of very interesting and eyebrow-raising things recently. He is, of course, someone who has said a lot of questionable things, done a lot of questionable things recently, and that has continued on with him now doing this very bizarre panel with Bill Clinton, where they talk about a lot of very insane and weird things. So, Bill Clinton offers urgent warning in candid talk with Tom Hanks. Democracy is fragile right now, which is basically just code word for, people have opinions and are voting the way that we don't want them to and that are outside of our narrative, and we don't like that. That's basically what it all boils down to when they say things like this. Because democracy, in their minds, is just their narrative, and if you do not ascribe to their narrative, then you are fighting against democracy. How dare you! So, former President Bill Clinton believes that democracy is fragile right now. And Tom Hanks had some very interesting things to say here, which we'll get into before we get into the interview that we're going to be talking about. Hanks, speaking with reverence and authority of a history professor, argued that educating people about true historical events can help to get the public to care about and advocate for. Now, of course, we know what Hollywood does. We've seen it very recently with this film that has come out recently called Woman King, where Hollywood will take these historical events and then they will warp them so that they can fit inside of the woke Hollywood narrative. That is something that Hollywood has continued to engage in. It is a very nasty and filthy practice that they continue to do. Especially since, they try to pass off these films as being like these are actual historical events and films and everything else. It's different when it's like a film coming from like Quentin Tarantino, like Inglourious Basterds, which is very obviously like an alternate reality thing. And that is something that he talked about all the time when promoting that film and everything else. And same with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, all of that type of stuff. It's very different with that and films like Woman King, which is a woke film that is being promoted as, oh, this is a historical film about Dahomey people. So anyway, Tom Hanks. Let's get into what Tom Hanks has to say, because he has left the internet in a complete fluster over what he has said. So Tom Hanks says he only made 4 pretty good movies in his career. Hanks stated that he feels only 4 of his movies were pretty good. I've made a ton of movies, and 4 of them are pretty good, I think. And I'm still amazed at how films come together, from a flicker of an idea to the flickering image on screen. The whole process is a miracle. And as someone who has made movies and films and everything else myself, I can agree with this. Go check out EpicVerse. We have some cool stuff that's going to be coming out soon. So make sure that you subscribe here so that you can see what my entertainment company is going to be producing. Now, Tom Hanks did say something that is addressing something that a lot of us have been very frustrated about when it comes to Hollywood. And that is sequels, reboots, remakes, and the creative bankruptcy that Hollywood continues to be plagued with as they continue to dive bomb into woke ridiculousness. So he had this to say: a smart thing I did is I've never signed a contract that had a contractual obligation to a sequel. I've always said, guys, if there's a reason to do it, let's do it, but you guys can't force me. There is that natural inclination that is one of pure commerce that says, hey, you just had a hit, so do it again and you'll have a hit. So I do appreciate the fact that he did address that issue that Hollywood has. Hanks has starred in many critically acclaimed movies, including Forrest Gump, Castaway, Saving Private Ryan, and the Toy Story franchise, according to IMDb. But he didn't go into details about what these 4 pretty good movies are that he is claiming that he was in. And now the whole internet is freaking out and wondering, what were the 4 movies, Tom Hanks? What were these 4 movies that you were talking about? He didn't even give us a clue about what those movies were. So people have been debating about what those movies would have been, and I just want to hear from you guys. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think are the 4 movies that he is talking about here? Are there any movies that you enjoy that Tom Hanks happens to be a part of? There's been a few for me that I really like. I like Saving Private Ryan. I think that the Toy Story films, especially the first one, I think the first Toy Story movie is probably like the best animated movie of all time, in my opinion. I think it is just phenomenal. He's been in quite a few good movies, but of course Tom Hanks has continued to be someone that has digressed into doing all sorts of very weird and crappy type of films recently, which is just, that's what happens when you are one of these Hollywood celebrities that have gone off the deep end like Tom Hanks has. So let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. What do you think about this news from Tom Hanks? Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.